Hello and welcome to the Student Tax Information section of the FAFSA application, which is also known as Student Financials. We will be going line by line on how to complete this section. Mainly students get stuck here, so we are here to assist you with this friendly video. There are two things that you will need in order to complete this section. It will be your W-2s from 2019 as well as your 2019 taxes. So make sure to have those in hand. Thank you. Okay, so the first section under student financial is regarding if you have completed 2019 taxes. If you have completed 2019 taxes, you're going to select already completed. As a reminder, this is the student's information. If you are a dependent student, meaning that you already completed your parent section, please make sure that you're reading everything carefully because on the top it states student tax filing status. So meaning if you filled out taxes and if you have already completed your tax forms for 2019. So keep that in mind. Okay, for students who are independent, make sure to have those taxes right in front of you because we are going to be going line by line. For the first question, it states, for 2019, have you completed your IRS income tax return or another tax return? You can say already completed if you have completed 2019 taxes. If you did work but did not file taxes because of the amount of wages was not sufficient enough to file taxes, you can state will not file. For those who need to complete your taxes, you have the option to say will file as well. And at a later time when you do file your taxes, you can come back onto the FAFSA and change that to already completed. The following question, what income tax return did you file for 2019? This will give you different options. The first option will be foreign taxes. The second option will be Puerto Rican taxes. And the final option is IRS 1040. So for those who are in the States, you did file in the US, you want to make sure to check what type of form you did file. And if you're curious, I just want to double check what type of form I did, you could pull out your taxes and on the left hand side corner, you will see form 1040, okay? So this will allow to tell you what type of form you filed for 2019. It also will tell you your filing status, whether you filed single, married filing jointly, married filing separately, head of household, or you're a qualified widow. So depending on how you filed, if you filed single, married filing jointly, married filing separately, you want to make sure to click on that option on your FAFSA. So everything needs to match up. Our example filed single. So whatever type of way that you filed, make sure to identify that here. You also have the ability to use the IRS data retrieval tool, meaning that you could link your taxes electronically and transfer that information directly from the IRS onto your FAFSA application. It's very quick, very simple as well. So if you select link to IRS, it's going to take you to this page right here. Once again, this is the student's information. If you decide to link to the IRS, you want to make sure that you're inputting the information that is on your tax forms, meaning your address, because they are going to tell you, please enter your address, and they want it the specific way that it is on your taxes. So keep that in mind. So if your address is in all caps on your taxes, if it has boulevard, street, court after your address, they want you to include that as well. If there's an apartment number on your taxes as well, you want to make sure to include that as well on the IRS data retrieval tool. And we will have a 15-minute video on our YouTube channel. So if you're curious on how to link your taxes, you could click on that link and we'll go line by line on how to link your taxes using the IRS data retrieval tool. Okay, the following section will address adjusted gross income for 2019. This amount can be found on your 1040 form, line 8B. And you're probably curious, where do I find this? How do I know it's line 8? So there is, underneath the dependents, the lines are numbered 1 through 8. And you want to make sure that you see line 8B, because 8 has A and B, so you want to make sure to identify 8B. And if you're like, is this the right line? You could always look at the bolded letters where it says adjusted gross income. And this is the right line, 8B. I'll leave it here so you have time to view your taxes and then go right ahead on your FAFSA application and view and enter the amount that's in line 8B. The following page is identifying how much earnings you have made in the year 2019. So your wages, salaries, tips, on how much you made. This can apply to also students who did not file taxes. This question will be asked, but they will ask you to identify on your W-2s, okay? You could also look at your W-2s to identify your wages. And by looking at your W-2s, you will look at line 1, where it says wages, tips, and other compensation. Your W-2 may look different, but it will be under box 1 always. So keep that in mind, okay? So if it doesn't look like this, you're going to look under box 1. Okay. If you're like, I can't locate my W-2s, but you do have your taxes in front of you, you could always look at your 1040, line 1, plus if you have a Schedule 1, lines 3 plus 6, and if you have a Schedule K1, you're going to look at box 14 and add it all up. You're probably like, okay, how does this look? Okay, so on the left-hand side, we have our 1040, line 1, highlighted. So you want to make sure to include on a separate piece of paper or on a calculator, you want to make sure to include that. If you have a Schedule 1, you want to make sure to include line 3, which is highlighted as well. And then line 6, okay? If you do not have anything on boxes 3 and 6, we're only going to be focusing on the line 1 on your 1040. So keep that in mind. And if you have a Schedule K1, you will also add line 14. Okay, which is right here. Okay, and you will add everything together, and that will be your adjusted gross income. So keep that in mind. It may vary from person to person if you have Schedule 1 and Schedule K1. If you do not, don't freak out. You may not have those schedules because it did not apply to you. So you're only going to focus on your 1040 form, okay, and enter that amount here. Our example made $2,700, so keep that in mind. Moving forward, the following question will ask you, enter the amount of your income tax for 2019. This is the total amount of IRS Form 1040, line 14, minus Schedule 2, line 2. So once again, I'm going to reiterate, If you only have a 1040 and not a Schedule 2, you're only going to be focusing on line 14 minus 0. So keep that in mind if you do not have a Schedule 2. If you have a Schedule 2, you will have to follow the directions that are stated on the FAFSA application, which is 14 minus 2. So whatever's in those boxes, you want to subtract from one another. So our example has 0. So he didn't have anything on line 14, or he did not have a Schedule 2. So he included 0. He or she included 0. The following question is, did you have any of the following items in 2019? So anything that you have earned throughout combat pay, educational credits, college grants that were reported to the IRS specifically, you will need to include. So we'll go line by line with this. So if you earned combat pay, you will want to make sure to include for the whole year of 2019 how much you got paid of combat on the first line. The second one deals with student college grant and scholarship aid reported to the IRS in your income, including AmeriCorps benefits, awards, living allowances, and interest accrual payments, as well as grant and scholarship portions of fellowships and assistantships. So if you received any grants from fellowship or assistantships or any AmeriCorps benefits, you will include here. Educational credits, such as the American Opportunity Tax Credit or Lifetime Learning Tax Credit from the IRS, you could locate this under Schedule 3, okay? Under line 3. You're probably like, let me see how that looks. If you have a Schedule 3 in your taxes, it will look like the following. So here's Schedule 3 and then line 3. So keep that in mind. Okay. You will enter that where it says educational credit if there is an amount on that line 3, Schedule 3, line 3. The following is untaxed portions of IRA distributions and pensions from the IRS Form 1040, lines 4A plus 4C minus 4B plus 4D. So keep that in mind. You will have to add 4A, 4C first, as well as 4B plus 4D first, and then subtract it from one another. And you exclude rollovers. So if you have rollovers in this section, do not include. So 4A, where it says IRA distributions, is located right here. If you have a total amount, you want to add it to 4B. And then you want to add 4C plus 4D and subtract that from one another. And you will enter that amount on a section where it says untaxed portions of IRA distributions and pensions from IRS form. Then the next question is IRA deductions and payments to self-employed SEP, simple, KEOGH, and other qualifying plans from the IRS Form 1040 Schedule 1. So if you have a Schedule 1, you are going to look at the line specifically 15 plus 19. So this is Schedule 1. Remember, we're looking at specific schedules. 15, which states self-employed SEP simple and qualifying plans, which is line 15, plus line 19, which is the IRA deduction. Okay, so we're going to add that. So if you have a calculator, you can use your phone, add this up, and input that number in that question where it states IRA deductions and payments to self-employed. Okay, Following question is tax-exempt interest income from IRS 1040, line 2A. So we're looking at line 2A on your regular 1040. So it's the second line underneath your wages, salaries, and tips. Okay, our following slide deals with child support you paid because of being divorced or separated. You want to make sure to include the amount that you received paid for the whole year of 2019. So if you know how much you paid for the whole year, you want to make sure to include that here. Any earnings that you have worked from under cooperative education program offered by a college, or any taxable earnings from employment-based programs such as federal work studies and need-based employment portions of fellowships or assistantships. This is the area that you want to make sure to include. The next slide is any child support you have received for children. So you want to make sure to have that amount that you have received for the whole year of 2019 and include that here. Any housing, food, and other living expenses paid by the members of the military or clergy or others, you want to make sure to include this here. So how much did they pay for the whole year of 2019? You want to make sure to include here. Payments to tax-deferred pensions and retirement savings plans. You can locate this under your W-2 in boxes 12A through 12D, and you are specifically going to focus on codes CE, F, G, H, and S. Do not include the code DD at all. So we will go under the next page, which will show you your W-2, an example of your W-2. Your W-2 may look different, but it will be under the sections 12A through 12B, C, and D. If you have multiple codes, you want to make sure to add those up together and do not add anything outside of what is listed on the FAFSA. So don't include DD. You are only focusing on D, E, F, G, H, and S. So keep that in mind. The following question deals with veteran non-educational benefits such as disability, the death pension, or dependency and indemnity compensation, which is DIC, and or VA educational work study allowances. So if you earned any of the following, you want to make sure any of the benefits, you want to make sure to include that for the whole year of 2019 of how much you earned. Other untaxed income not reported, such as workers' compensation, disability, you want to include that here for the whole year of 2019. So keep that in mind. Any money that you have received on your behalf to pay for bills, not reported anywhere else on this form, you want to make sure to include here. So if you received money from your aunt or uncle or someone to help you pay your own bills, you want to include the total amount here on the last portion. We are coming to an end almost. As of today, what is your total current balance of cash, savings, and checkings account? So as of today, how much do you have in your savings account or checkings account and cash? If you have any investments such as real estate, you have multiple properties, not including the house that you currently live in. If you yourself have multiple investments properties, you want to make sure to include that here. As of today, what is your net worth of your current business and or investment farms? Don't include a family farm or family business with 100 or few full-time or full-time equivalent employees. So if you have less than 100 employees in your business, do not include that here. Okay, and this is where we end the student financial portion. Make sure to join us under the signing the FAFSA, which is the last step. Thank you.